What is going on YouTube? It is Quick Snoopy, and we're bringing you another Dota guide for beginners. And something I do want to mention is that today we're going to be going over kind of how to play the support role, giving you a brief description of it, and then kind of giving you guys some examples. So my other video I did before was good heroes for beginners to play, and I actually talked about Lich, which is somewhere right here actually. So we went over this guy right here, and you should definitely check out that video if you're interested in playing Lich. And I also brought up before in the good starting items playing Crystal Maiden as a support. So I've brought it up briefly, but I've never really made a whole full video directing playing support. So a lot of difficult ways to kind of describe support. So I actually just used right here at the bottom support to like level 1 or tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So we're just going to look at tier 1. And I'm going to give some examples. Like Shadow Shaman would be a perfect example. Range, support, pusher, disabler. And we're going to go over why Shadow Shaman is a good support. Or maybe not in this meta, but how you should play him as a support and what are your responsibilities. So you guys can see the abilities. I'm going to go over them in a minute, but as a support, whether you're playing Crystal Maiden, Shadow Shaman, Lich, Oracle, whatever the case may be, your objective is to usually play in the safe lane, harass the other enemy team's carry. So even if that means but you also have to worry about aggro. But that's a more advanced step, which we could talk about later in the series. So I really want to kind of focus on harassing the other team. If they're going for a last hit, try and hit them, or try and make sure they don't get the last hits. As a support, you should be denying, and Lich has a great ability for that. So that's kind of your responsibility, is to make the other team's life difficult. You're that person. You're trying to help your support. You're trying to help your carry in the safe lane. And you're trying to make the other team's life difficult. So easier said than done always, but Shadow Shaman has some great ways of doing that. So his first ability is going to be it creates a cone of energy that strikes multiple enemy units. At level 4, you're looking at 360 damage and up to 7 targets. That's pretty insane. We're going to go over to some of the disables now. So it'll transform Hex, will transform an enemy unit into a harmless creature, disabling their attacks and abilities. Again, at level 4, 3.5 seconds where they will be unable to attack or use abilities. So they're kind of just unable to do anything except walk away. And that's it. Another one I do want to mention is Shackles. Very, very good. At level 4, you're looking at 5 seconds of disabling somebody. But this is a channeled spell, so if you happen to be using this ability and Luna uses a stun on you, Sven stuns you, you won't be able to continue the channel. It'll stop the channel. It'll disrupt it. So this one's really good because a total damage at 360 plus a max duration of 5 seconds. So I'll kind of put it this way. You can use Shackles on an enemy hero, and if you have somebody like Ursa on your team, Ursa can just use his Fury swipes, and Ursa has 5 seconds while you're using Shackles to kill this guy. On top of that, if 5 seconds isn't enough to kill this person, because let's say he might be Abaddon or Axe or something, whatever the case may be, he's super fed, super tanky, and you can't kill him within the 5-second duration, you can use your Hex afterwards, and that's 3.5 seconds. So now you're looking at, what, 8.5 seconds of disables. That's pretty insane. And another really good thing about Shadow Shaman is his ultimate, the Serpent Wards. You can upgrade it by Aghanim Scepter, but the Serpent Wards can not only attack enemy heroes, but they can also attack enemy buildings and towers. So that would be good against barracks. If you're trying to push, set them right down in front of the barracks. Offline mode. Dota's been having issues today with online, so I decided now's a good time to make the video, and I have some extra time today. So, but anyways, using Serpent Wards near the barracks, you could easily take both barracks and stuff, right? If your team's pushing, it's just a really good support. And I'm not going to go in detail for every single support. We went over Crystal Maiden, how she has a really good passive mana ability. We went over her ultimate channeled. But as a support, you should be like buying wards, upgrading the career, kind of helping your team out, you know, because your carries are going to want the gold. And if that means like sharing a few tangos with them, using a clarity on them, basically just helping out your carries is pretty much all it is. But it's more to it than that, in the sense that if say you're in a safe lane, right, and you have a Drow Ranger and you want to play support, a good support would be Vengeful Spirit. Now, here's why. Some supports do better with certain carries than others. The reason is because of the Vengeance Aura, which if you look, gives a 36% damage bonus at level 4. So they're doing like 36% extra bonus damage, plus Drow already has another aura on top of that, and the aura is stack. So Vengeful Spirit is definitely good for possibly team fighting. If you die, then it'll have a negative impact on the enemy. So they'll do 36% less damage. And then you have Swap, which is her ultimate. You can kind of like trade places with the enemy, or I guess your teammate. And Wave of Terror too. At level 4, you're looking at an armor reduction of 6. What's really nice about this is it provides vision as well. So if you ever need to use it for vision, like high ground or something, or on top of that, it's pure damage and it pierces spell immunity. So if you're in a team fight and Wave of Terror hits a lot of people, you're good. So you can kind of see here how a lot of these support heroes, especially like Omni Knight, a lot of these support heroes are going to help out your team, and that's pretty much what playing support is all about, is helping out your team. So I'll look right here. Purification for Omni Knight instantly heals a friendly unit and damages all nearby units. Up to 360 damage, that's pretty good. Repel, it means it grants the target spell immunity and 100% resistance to magic damage. So imagine if they had like a Luna on the other team, right? And Luna popped her ult, you can just use Repel and you're good. Degen Aura, movement slow, 34% movement slow at like the highest level. It even has an attack slow of 34. And so last one, Guardian Angel, you're looking at immunity from all physical damage. So you have like, magical damage, physical damage. This guy is going to help out your team a lot. So last one I really do want to go over though, because I feel like I should, is Dazzle. Yeah, of course, you can always come down here at any time and be like, yeah, Lion's a good support. He has a lot of disables, a lot of magic abilities. One way, I'll throw this out here, one way, if you're ever playing against a Lion or you are playing a Lion, think about people who have like magic immunity, right? Like not necessarily pick your picks around their picks. If you're really good at Lion, play Lion. But if they have a Juggernaut who has spell immunity, if they have Life Stealer, you kind of get the idea where I'm going here. Like the magic immunity is a killer for Lion. I mean, his ult is magical. Like his other abilities are magical, like the spike and everything. So keep that in mind when you're picking a hero. You know, if you pick if your team is whole like magic based, you know, if you have like Lion and Lena, and it gets pretty out of hand. Like Luna, like the other team's just gonna buy BKB and counter you. I'm getting off track. Dazzle, yes. Last one I want to go over. You can kind of see too. The hero's ability mechanics are fairly straightforward to execute, so Dazzle isn't too difficult. This is another hero I would recommend for beginners. Briefly gonna go over his abilities. His first ability is to basically slow the enemy and then do damage over time. Is kind of how it's gonna go. Or I guess like at level 4, you're looking at a 1-second stun. Yeah, it has like different tiers. It's a whole book for Dazzle, right? But it's not as hard as it makes it look. If you read this and you kind of think about it, and then you use that ability a few times. You'll understand it. Shallow Grave, I'll briefly explain it. You use it on yourself or your teammate, and he'll live like no matter what for 5 seconds. So like let's say you're in a team fight, right? And you have a Drow Ranger, and Drow Ranger's like really low health. Like Drow Ranger has 200 health, and there's a Luna, and then you see a Luna wants to like use her ultimate on Dazzle. I'm using Luna as like a reference for everything because I've played a lot of Luna recently. Use Shallow Grave on Drow Ranger or any of your team, and they'll be able to survive no matter what. So, you know, even if like whatever happens, they're gonna survive. Okay, like just understand that your teammate will survive. And if you try to use Force Staff, you can try and save them with Force Staff, or they could try and teleport out. A lot of different scenarios you could do with this. So, and you could even use it on yourself. So if you're about to die, use it on yourself and you're good. Shadow Wave, really nice because not only does it heal your team, but it damages the other team as well. And it'll heal yourself. So it's a physical damage type, which is really good. We went over like the magical types. So BKB will not counter this, and it pierces spell immunity anyways, so you're good. Pretty much all there is to that. And then Weave, it applies a buff that increases the armor of allied heroes while decreasing the armor of enemy heroes. So at level 3, my bad, 1.25 armor increase or decrease per second. So it can last 24 seconds. So I don't even know what that is right now off the top of my head. So even at level 2 at 24 seconds, you could give your team, your whole team, if they were in the circle, in the AoE, you could give them 1 armor per second at level 2 for 24 seconds. So the total 24 armor for your whole team. That could win you a team fight right there. Plus, you know, you have Shallow Grave, that could help you. Plus you have a heal, plus you have a movement slow. Like, you're going to win team fights with this guy. So feel free to look at any of these other guys. Some are a little bit more advanced than others, such as Oracle. I'm still practicing Oracle a little bit. So that might be a little bit more difficult. And once you start getting the hang of playing support, and you want to try out new things, I'd say go for it. You know, like there's some really good supports. Keeper of the Light is pretty good. But you also have to kind of take in like skill cap into effect here. So Omni Knight's really easy. Crystal Maiden is really easy. Vengeful Spirit is really easy. So a lot of these heroes you guys can play. It's not like in my previous video I made it sound like you should only play Crystal Maiden. I had people ask me like, can I play Savin if I want to play Savin? Like, it's Dota, man. Like, have fun. That's pretty much all I have to say is have fun. I'm here to give you guys advice. When I started out, like I said, I played Vengeful Spirit a ton when I started out. And I still do play Vengeful Spirit a lot. So really good heroes and picks. Of course, like, you can build items like Mechanism and stuff, and that'll affect it. But we're not even going to go over items. If this is a beginner's guide, I'm not trying to get too advanced. I'm not trying to like confuse you guys or anything. We'll get there. We'll get there in time. So with that being said, if you enjoyed today's video or it helped you at all, please share it with a friend, like the video, or subscribe. And I plan on making more videos for like a carry, disabler, and you can look at them right now as well. You can just click on carry, and then it'll pop up with a list of carries, and you guys can kind of play from there. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.